Astronauts are on their way to the moon for the first time in more than half a century after the successful launch of NASA's Artemis 2 mission from Florida last night. The voyage is expected to take 10 days. The four-strong crew won't land on the lunar surface, but they will travel farther than any human ever has, orbiting the moon once before returning to Earth.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff.
Decades in the making and keenly anticipated. This was an historic liftoff.
The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon.
Artemis 2 is considered NASA's most ambitious voyage in years, taking 4 astronauts around the moon and further from Earth than anyone has ever been before.
So after a brief 54-year intermission, NASA is back in the business of sending astronauts to the moon. I think after Artemis 2, you're going to have more kids that are going to dress up as astronauts for Halloween. We want to inspire.
The mission to the moon is already generating huge interest, with tens of thousands gathering in Florida last night to witness in person the launch of the 32-story rocket.
I guess I'm just really excited that we're going back to the moon.
Yeah.
And that's just a really big thing. Like, this is history tonight, and I'm just got to be a part of it.
And even for those who have been there, done that, this is still a significant moment.
I've been talking about this for 53 and a half years, to getting back to the moon. I was more than honored and privileged to be the 12th man to step on the moon. But now some of the arguments I've been making for years that we ought to have a 13th and a 14th and a 15th.
Yeah, we have good separation, good motion.
Artemis is a major step in that direction. These new images highlighting the success of the mission so far. Although its 4 astronauts will not step on the moon this time, it is hoped the voyage will pave the way for more lunar landings.
It was an amazing ride uphill. The views, we've got 2 moon rises that we've had so far, and the views of planet Earth, we've circled it completely, and we forgot how beautiful it is to look down on Earth.
For now, the spacecraft will remain in Earth's orbit for 24 hours, as the crew carries out a series of checks ahead of what so many here on Earth hope will be a major milestone for the future of space travel. Kate Varley, RTÉ News.
Well, for more on this historic space flight, I'm joined now by Dr. Niall Smith, who's head of the Blackrock Castle Observatory in Cork and head of research at Munster Technological University. Thanks for joining us on 6-1 this evening. I know you watched the Apollo launch as a small child. As a grown-up scientist now, can you explain to us why last night's launch matters so much?
Yes, Sharon. Well, it was very exciting, reminiscent of 1969. One of the reasons why last night was so important was that we have a whole new system that is designed to bring astronauts to the surface of the moon, ultimately, in a way that we didn't do in 1969. In other words, we want to be able to bring them there regularly. We want to be able to resupply them regularly. We need to have a spacecraft that is very capable of doing that. And this is the first time that this has been tested, this particular spacecraft, with its European component as well as its American components, with 4 astronauts on board. So last night was really all about seeing, can we send it out, go around the moon, come back safely. So from an engineering perspective, it's a huge engineering task. If you're from a medical perspective, you're looking at how the astronauts are performing. What's how does the space, the zero gravity and the increased radiation, how does that affect the way they behave? How do they behave physiologically and psychologically? If you're looking at it from a broader perspective, last night was important because if we are going to go back to the moon permanently, then we need to be able to know that we can go there where we need to go, to where there are resources. So, for example, we want to go and land on the moon where there's water. We don't just want to go somewhere that's easy to land on. We need to go somewhere where it makes sense to land. So we need the systems that we're developing to be able to be capable of really very fine maneuvering, so that we ultimately want to go and land on the moon, that we have all of that capability tested. And finally, I think if you're somebody like me who's really interested in the astronomy side of things, last night was important because it might be the first start of us being able to put telescopes and so on the moon in the future, which would give us an incredible view of the universe, which we simply can't get from the surface of the Earth. So almost no matter who you are, last night was a significant event, and the next few days, of course, will reinforce the significance of that. So very exciting, Sharon.
And what will it be like for the 4 astronauts on board over the next 10 days?
Yeah, some of it's going to be fairly ordinary stuff. I mean, they're going to have their freeze-dried food that they will eat. They will have to exercise every day because you lose muscle mass and you get stiff very quickly in 0G. But they will also be doing a lot of testing of things, for example, like CPR in space if something goes wrong. And really, differently to previously, they will be testing out their new spacesuits. NASA would have used spacesuits that as a one-size-fits-all. A common complaint would have been they were uncomfortable, they were awkward. If we're going to start to do things in space and be more nimble and maneuverable, we need spacesuits that can do that. And these spacesuits can also actually keep the astronauts alive if they were needed for up to 6 days. So they'll be doing lots of testing themselves. They'll also then have an opportunity to relax. They'll be able to take pictures when they go around the far side of the moon. They'll be able to use high-resolution cameras, maybe get some really interesting data. But to be honest, Sharon, they'll also be able to just enjoy the fact that they will be, as you pointed out, the farthest individuals ever from the surface of the Earth. So I think it'll be a mix of being human and being an astronaut and being an engineer, and also being a test for future missions.
OK, Dr. Niall Smith, head of the Blackrock Castle Observatory in Cork. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. Well, let's return to our top story. And as you've been hearing, for the first time in more than half a century, astronauts are on their way to the vicinity of the moon. The mission could see them travel farther than any human ever has. Well, Dr. Niamh Shaw, scientist and science space writer, watched that historic launch from the Kennedy Space Centre, and that's where she joins us from now. Thanks so much for staying up to speak to us. You watched that launch last night. Can you describe to us how it felt?
It was, it was once in a lifetime. Much bigger launch than anything I'd ever seen before. It's brighter. You almost think you can't look at it. It's so bright. Massive plumes of smoke. And it went on for like 3 minutes because it was such a clear sky. We could follow that long. But most importantly, it hits you in your chest. Like the vibrations of it and also the sound actually physically impacts you. And very overwhelming. I was like speechless afterwards. I had no words. It was, I think the moment just sort of landed with you. All these people for the last 14 years have been working towards this one point where finally we're returning humans to the moon as part of the mission was born. You felt it in the moment. It was extraordinary. Without words, it took me hours to kind of figure out that's exactly what it was. It was a really special, really, really, really special moment.
We have re-established contact with Dr. Niamh Shaw, who's in Florida and was watching that launch last night. Niamh, you were describing to us how momentous an event it was and what it felt like to be there. Maybe you'd explain that to us again.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. Just incredible. There was nothing that compares to it. So it's almost like your body has to go, sorry, what was that? Because it's a massive explosion. And then there's 4 people on top. And that's hard to kind of remember when you're looking at something like that. And then really, really bright burn and loads of plumes of smoke that went on for about 3.5 minutes, which is very unusual from any launches I'd seen before. But the most distinctive thing was it just hit you in your chest. You could feel the vibrations in your chest, and then it went down to your feet. And it was sort of like your body, what is this? It was just incredible.
50 years before we see another mission to the moon, another half a century perhaps.
No, I think the plan now is, this is part of the beginning of an infrastructure where they intend to build a research station on the moon. So this was Artemis 2, and this mission is testing the living quarters, the Orion capsule. That's what this one's all about. The Artemis 1 was about the rocket. This one's about the capsule. Artemis 3 is about the lander. How are we going to get people to land on the moon? And there are 2 proposals for landers for that. That's Artemis 3. And then if that all goes well, Artemis 4, as they say, footprints and flags on the moon. So they're saying 2027 for Artemis 3, 2028 for Artemis 4. And that's a very ambitious plan, but you never know. I mean, people who work in the space sector, they make the impossible possible, like what I saw yesterday. So you never know.
Dr. Niamh Shaw, space and science writer, thank you for speaking to us from Florida on 6-1.